In life, there has to be balance. In life, there has to be equality on importance and emotional and physical health. You cannot rely on one thing in your life to be happy and healthy, whether it be a hobby, whether it be a person, or whether it be a goal. Really, it's not healthy at all to only have one thing in your life that you rely on to keep you going. Life needs balance. You need multiple things to commit to and be dedicated to and have purpose for in order to truly be happy and healthy. I have seen way too many incidents out there, like romantic couples who rely on each other way too much for their health and happiness, and they have no sense of independence. That is extremely toxic and can cause a lot of stress, anxiety, depression, and really not healthy at all. I feel that a lot of people out there who feel that they absolutely have to be in a romantic relationship, they need to realize it's more important to find the absolute right person and know for sure what makes them happy and healthy, and of course, make sure that they're fully mature enough to properly handle a romantic relationship in order to truly be ready for one. That's why I really feel like all of those high school teenagers out there that think they're in love, they really have to understand the vast majority of their time, their brains are not fully developed. They need to understand that a healthy relationship requires independence and freedom and mental maturity. You can't solely be codependent on each other for happiness. You need other things in your life to make yourself truly happy and healthy. The world is a crazy and unfair place. You've got to be prepared for pretty much anything. And you've also got to understand, you have to know for sure if you truly will be right for each other forever and ever. And really, from what I've learned, now that I'm 31 years old, you change a lot in your early 20s. I remember when I was in my early 20s, I had a lot of immature behavior that, looking back, I seriously cringe at. And I also had a lot of very immature beliefs as well. And I got myself into a lot of immature situations as well. But one thing's for sure, I definitely learned from them. So that's one thing I got going for me. I learned a lot from all of my mistakes and learned a lot from the time that I've wasted on certain things, and learned a lot for when people of my past hurt me, and learned about how back then I was not the best version of myself because I was not fully mature yet. I feel that even though I'm 31, even though I feel I have the healthiest mental and emotional self I've ever been, I still have quite a bit of room for growth. I feel everybody always has a lot of room for growth. But yeah, nowadays I really don't let my anxiety get the better of me. I don't really even cry that often either. I don't get upset that often, and I don't really get angry at all anymore. If I do, I just keep it inside. Yeah, I've really learned to handle my emotions very well. Whenever I'm upset about something, I learn how to handle it and be mature about it. At least a lot better than I did back when I was a teenager and back in my early 20s, that's for sure. Believe me, it takes a lot of experiences, a lot of learning, and a lot of growth in order to truly be ready for a world where you could be happy and healthy in a nice, balanced life. And really, being codependent on something or someone just is not right. You need a good balance of things. You can't say that this one thing is the only thing going on in your life and you need it. When you say you need something and it's not healthy food, water, shelter to stay safe from the elements, and people you have in your life that are really truly healthy for you, really, you can't say that you need something. Like, it's okay if it makes you happy, but you can't feel like that you need it to live if it's not food, water, and shelter. You really gotta make sure that you keep your mindset healthy. I mean, I love my artwork. It makes me extremely happy, but I wouldn't say that I need it to live. Believe me, it does make me happier than a lot of things in life, but it's not like I need it to go on living. If something were to happen one day and I couldn't do my artwork anymore, I'd learn to adjust. You can't be so attached to something that you can't live without it. That's extremely unhealthy. That's not a love for something. That's an unhealthy obsession. Very unhealthy mindset. The only things you should ever need to live are food, water, and the proper shelter to protect you from the elements of the world. You need to understand when you say you need something, when you say that you need a romantic partner, or you need this hobby, or you need this dream, or else you will not want to live, that's taking it way too far. That is extremely unhealthy. That's not good for you at all. And I learned that from all of my years of growing and maturing. It really is best to stabilize your mind, become independent, and not have to rely so heavily on certain things in order to be happy and healthy, especially not to the point where you can't imagine life without it or that you would rather die without it. That's extremely unhealthy. You need plenty of things to fall back on, and you always have to remain strong and hopeful. In life, there are limitless opportunities for all kinds of ways to find a new kind of happiness. If one form of happiness does not work out for you, it really is for the best that you keep life balanced and you're not codependent on anything. One thing that really bothers me, though, is that some people embrace not being able to live without something or someone. And something that really bothers me? When that codependency of theirs is threatened. Something that I really hate is when people seem tied down in a toxic relationship, and in order to avoid the inevitable healthy breakup, people threaten to harm themselves or even end their own lives. That is emotional blackmail. That is a straight up form of abuse. If someone threatens to harm themselves or worse in order to get their way, that is abuse. That's called emotional blackmail. You can't use self-harm as a threat to get your way. You can't use self-harm as a threat to ensure that people stay by your side even though they don't want to. And you can't use self-harm to get people to commit to you. And you can't use self-harm to get people to contort to you. Really, any kind of threatening whatsoever, like, if you don't do this, or if you do this, I will do this and it will be your fault. Threatening like that is just plain wrong. That's a straight up form of abuse. Like, if you threaten someone, like, if you don't do this, I won't be your friend anymore. If you do this, I won't be your friend anymore. That's straight up abuse. Any kind of threatening like that is so toxic, and only the most horrible people would do that. Something else that really bothers me is when people beg and plead like whiny little children. That's something that not even I did when I was in my early 20s. So it really bothers me that people who are supposed to be mature enough to know when they should not get their way, that they beg and plead and whine like children. It really bothers me. Yeah. Something else that really bothers me sometimes is when grown-ups act like children in inappropriate ways. Like, there is a appropriate level of happiness and sadness for appropriate reasons. Listen, being autistic at the age of 26 or 30 is not an excuse for immature behavior, because you've had plenty of time to grow and figure things out through your life experiences. I know that there are a lot of unfortunate people that don't get the support from their family like maybe some people did. The thing is, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't want to learn how to mature on their own. That's honestly something that I had to do in my late 20s. I did have a lot of help from good friends of mine, but really, all they did was give me experiences and opportunities. The actual maturing itself, I had to learn that on my own. It takes a lot of experiences, a lot of mistakes, and a lot of learning in order to become your truly mature, full, genuine adult self. I feel that it's only when you reach that level in your life that you truly are ready for anything. One thing that I do know is that you have to acknowledge and learn from your mistakes. You have to learn what is healthy and what is not. And I learned that myself, so I know a lot of people would be capable of that. As someone who still has wonders and guesses about what is best for myself, I openly admit I'm still trying to figure out what truly is best for myself. So that's why I'm really hoping that other people out there will realize that maybe, just maybe, they have to do some considering about what really is best for themselves. One thing that can seriously manipulate their beliefs on what is best for themselves or what is healthy for them is anxiety. Inside Out 2 is one of my top favorite movies of all time, mostly because of how they portray anxiety. I swear, the way anxiety manipulated Riley's beliefs and choices based on her worries about being alone and friendless in high school. Yeah, anxiety about things like that could really put you down the wrong path and make you make terrible mistakes and make you have really toxic and unhealthy beliefs. But there is still a lot of time where you can learn from your mistakes. Learn not to let your anxiety manipulate you. Learn not to let your codependency rot your life. Learn not to need anything, other than food, water, and shelter. In life, it requires adjustments. It takes a lot of practice to be happy and healthy, no matter what life hits with you. It really does take a lot of work, a lot of hard work and effort, but hard work and effort rarely does not pay off. I'll admit, there are times when our anxiety does get the better of us, and we end up wasting a lot of time, possibly years of our life. But there's always a chance to bounce back, get right back into that hard work, and start going back down the path of truly being happy and healthy and fully maturing into our best, genuine self, to this day, that's what I'm still trying to do. I'm still trying my best to improve myself, my life, myself, pretty much everything. I'm really doing my best to stay strong, smart, and capable and independent. And I'm really hoping that you guys will be able to do that as well. Stay mature. Do not be codependent. Stay balanced. Stay mature. And be on the lookout for people who use their neediness, their immaturity, and their threats to manipulate people in the most toxic and horrible way possible. Keep a watch out, guys. Hope you're happy with this video.